How's it going? I got approximately 1800 rounds of ammunition here, and back in March I put a video on about ammunition facts and why there's a shortage in that. And the key thing I had talked about was the manufacturer can only produce 50 bricks of 22s per state per day to feed us. I mean, that's at peak capacity. Well, when something happens, in a national level or whatever that starts scaring people, there's absolutely no way that the manufacturers can keep up. And it's pretty safe to say time has proven that, because I had put that video back in March and now it's 6 months later and it's still the same. And I'm sure if they could make more, they would. But anyways, going with that, what I wanted to talk about is I've got 1800 rounds here. I've depleted quite a bit from what I had in March. I've sold some to friends. I've shot quite a bit and stuff like that. But I have been feeling fairly comfortable for 3 months, not because things were better, but I felt comfortable with what I had. And I have been not really buying anything, but I've always kept my eye open and can see that it's a little bit better, but it hasn't gotten very good at all. Most of the stores where I purchase it from is virtually the same. It's a hit and miss, and you're rationing it out. Now, this picture you see here is from Walmart last night. Now, that put a scare into me. And it was hard to, I was like, oh my gosh, now is this going to ever end? Well, then you go onto YouTube and read comments on guys that have, videos on there, and you can get a good general idea on what's happening and how it's doing and if it's getting better or worse. And I don't even have to talk about that. Go ahead and read comments. In fact, comment on this video. Let me know how you're doing. It shows a lot as to what is happening out there. Now, why do I think the root cause of this whole ammunition scare? There's a lot of them, but one thing that does hurt us is our news media. And what I'm saying about the news media is they're not out trying to warp our minds or nothing, but they're just basically, it's everywhere now. I mean, you get up in the morning, you can hear on something that has happened, national or world or whatever, something bad or whatever, exceptional or whatnot, you hear about it all day long. And it's getting pushed into our faces. And why is it getting pushed into our faces? It's not a conspiracy. It's because no different than the same reason why you're watching this video now. You want to know. And we, as a human race, want to know. We want to know what's going on. Well, the technology we have now, there is nothing, no stone left unturned. I mean, if there's a shooting, everybody's going to know about it. If that triggers somebody wanting more of some kind of a gun ban or something like that to help curb it, well, then it's going to do that. And I don't think this is going to come to an end. Yeah, we might level off with our supplies and be able to get more ammunition and guns like that a little bit here and there, but over the course of time, I do think it's just going to continually get worse and worse and worse state by state, to where it is going to be hard to own ammunition and stuff like that eventually. Maybe it'll take years and years and years, but I don't see it getting a lot better because we don't have a lot going for us to make it good. It isn't like you're taking a gun out and shooting an animal, feeding 100 people, and everybody's relying on that guy with that gun. I mean, we're using pretty much all this for sport. And there's a lot more people out there that don't have ammunition or guns or have no desire for it than people that do have it. So it's going to be hard, and it's going to get worse and worse. And going with that, I may have to just consider myself as a hoarder, because normally I'd only run with 100 rounds of 22s at any given time, up until I heard it in the news and the media that, hey, something's going on. I started hoarding, got my way up to probably 4,500 or 5,000 rounds, sold some off, but I've got 1,600 to 1,800 here, and I don't feel satisfied. Now I'm depleted it down a little. I'm back out looking. I purchased this yesterday, I've never even seen these before. I've never shot them in my life. I don't even know if they're any good. But $13 for these 150 rounds. A friend of mine, bartering his away, he gave me a brick of Wildcat 22s, which this is a very old, well, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, brick of 22s that he had, and I bought something on eBay for him. I got a decent buy on it. But that's you're even bartering our ammunition away. And I'm going to stockpile up to, I would say, at a minimum 5,000 rounds. And I want that 5,000 rounds, and I'll feel better. And I'm going to admit it. I guess I'm a hoarder. I mean, I don't need any more than that, but I'm scared that things are not going to get better. I want to be prepared, and if it makes me a hoarder, it makes me a hoarder, considered one or whatever like that. But if everything levels out, you know, so be it. I got the ammunition. If nothing levels out and all hell breaks loose, if Syria turns into a all-out, you know, World War III, I got my ammunition. If Syria is nothing than a blip in the news media, I got my ammunition. If depending on who gets elected again, back in 2008, Obama got elected. It caused a national scare on everybody going and buying all the ammunition they could possibly find, and a big shortage just because Barack Obama got elected president, which I thought was asinine that caused such a scare. But anything can trigger it. And like I said, you get up in the morning, you go to get a cup of coffee, you walk by your TV, blam, somebody got shot, you know. And you know, depending on who you are and what your beliefs are, we're not going to get away from it. We're not going to get away from having to do the battle of are we going to make it or not. And like I said, they can only produce so many rounds of ammunition to feed us. There's also one thing happening is that with the news media, we've acquired a lot more new shooters. Somebody's that's never shot, it's like, hey, this is going on, that's going on, I'm hearing this and that. I'm going to go get some bullets and a gun. I don't want to be caught with my pants down and not ever be able to get something. So then we got that into play. And this is just going to continue and continue and continue. Maybe it'll last for a year, maybe more. You know, everything's good to go, but we're going to see it a lot more. And I'm going to prepare myself, and I'm going to have what I need to have, and I'll give updates on it. I'm going to continue watching comments and looking at to see what's going on and following. And I'd suggest everybody does that, but at some point in time, you'd think everyone would have enough ammunition to make it, but I'm beginning to wonder that that day's ever going to come. We'll see what happens. I'm going to put another video on in, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months or maybe even earlier. We'll see what happens, but give me a comment on what you think, and we'll see how it goes.